Welcome to Sustainable DIY. I'm going to run through all the steps to cut this bottle into a hurricane like this one to shield a candle, maybe for a table decoration or something else. I'm going to cut this one in two places though, because I want to create just an open ring all the way around. This is a standard glass cutter for stained glass work or cutting sheet glass for windows. It's got a little cutter wheel right here, and these would be for snapping the glass off when you're done. You'd sort of fit it into there and snap it, and there's a little ball on the end for tapping the back of a crack. But these are about $5 to $6 and available at most hardware stores or on Amazon. And then this is a bottle cutter specifically made for recycled glass, cutting bottles and all. This cone here holds the cutter in the bottle. This is the actual cutter wheel, just like the one on the other glass cutter. You want to adjust all this so that the cutter itself here is 90 degrees into the angle of the glass. If I was up here, I'd have to be more at this angle, but here it's about 90 degrees. So I'm going to hold the bottle and the cutter. Notice I want to keep my hand on the cutter open so that I'm not gripping and deforming the cutter. I want to apply pressure, just light pressure though, maybe a few pounds, between the bottle and the cutter, and then I'm going to roll the bottle around, holding the cutter in place. Should sound a little bit like tearing paper. You want to cut as far as you can with each turn so that you're not having to reset too many times. And you want to stop right when you get back to the cut you started on. And then you remove the cutter, and you'll be left with this thin line running all the way around. You can see it right here. Shouldn't be too thick and frosty. It should just be like a thin hair running all the way around. This cut looks about right. Maybe a little bit hard right in here. I'm just going to press it together and try and make as large of a sweeping cut as I can. It should sound a little bit like tearing paper. And I gotta reset. Do the next one. Until I get all the way around the bottle. Now I should have a small line running all the way around the bottle. Now you can see the line here where the cutter has scored the glass. It shouldn't be too thick and frosty. It should be more just like a thin line about the width of a hair. And this is where we'll separate the bottle. Now that we have our score in the glass, I'm going to separate it by alternating between hot and cold water to try and shock the glass into cracking. We've already created this score mark running all the way around, so that's going to be where it'll crack. It'll be at the weakest point. I've created hot water here in my boiler, little electric tea kettle. I'm going to put a rag down in my sink to catch the glass when it breaks and falls. I've got some ice cold water here that I'll use. The idea is to have the biggest difference in temperature to create more of a shock to the glass. So I'll slowly pour some boiling water on here. A couple seconds. Make sure the glass gets nice and hot. And I'm going to switch to the cold water. Cool it back down. You can actually see it cracking a little bit, but it's not there yet. Oh, I heard it pop a little bit. Now let that dry a little bit. Switch to the hot water again. You're warming up. You can hear it sort of popping and snapping, maybe a little bit like popcorn. Oh, and there we go. Makes a very nice clean edge all the way around. See here? That will be a nice edge, no big jagged pieces or cracks. Just a nice separated line. So here's the edge we got. It's a nice clean edge here, but you'll notice there's a big tooth here sticking up above where our score mark is. And that's where you can use the teeth on this standard glass cutter. Just fit it in there like that, and then apply a little bit of pressure. And it'll snap off towards your edge. May have to do it a couple times. This one came off, it cut a little low there, but we could sand that out to smooth it up. Or maybe I'll just try another one. This one here cut perfectly, you can see. Nice all the way around. No edges or cracks. So that's a nice one. Then at the end we'll be left with this ring like this. Swap out this old Hurricane here with my candle. We'll have a Hurricane like that.